We're going to get another fantastical rendition of the wonderful world of L. Frank Baum soon with the live-action release of Wicked in a week. 124 years ago, the world was first introduced to the whimsy and wonder of L. Frank Baum's classic tale, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz has been a cultural phenomenon for over a century, captivating audiences with its magical world, memorable characters, and timeless themes. It has spawned numerous books, narrative films, stage productions, and even video games. But have you ever wondered who might have been the inspiration behind this beloved classic? Was there ever a chance that L. Frank Baum wrote out the character of Oscar Diggs, also known as the Wizard of Oz, based on a real-life person? Behind the curtain of the silver screen lies a real-life character who may have inspired one of cinema's most iconic figures. Today, we're diving into the extraordinary life of Washington Harrison Donaldson, the man who could very well be the real-life Wizard of Oz. Here's to history. We're glad you could join us for some fascinating facts about the real-life daredevil balloonist who may have inspired the Wizard of Oz. We hope you'll like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can bring you more entertaining history lore. For many years, the origins of the Wizard of Oz have been shrouded in mystery, leaving fans and scholars to speculate about its true influences. Washington Harrison Donaldson is always the first name that comes to mind whenever the origins of the character of the Wizard of Oz is speculated. Donaldson was a true showman, a master of illusion. He captivated audiences with his tightrope walking, ventriloquism, and magic tricks. But it was his passion for ballooning that truly set him apart. Born in 1840 in Philadelphia, Washington Harrison Donaldson was drawn to the stage as a young man. His first and middle names were derived from the first and ninth presidents. Before becoming a renowned daredevil, Donaldson was already entertaining nearby family and friends with magic tricks and hazardous stunts. One of his earlier acts that horrified but highly electrified audiences was having Donaldson hurling knives at his brother Augustine, who leaned behind a board. The blade would slam inches away from Augustine's head. They kept this death-defying show for a while until their mother found out, and they had to stop. Moving on, Donaldson focused on acrobatics on the trapeze. One of his most famous early stunts was walking on a 1,800-foot-long tightrope across the Genesee River in New York. What made his stunt more dangerous is that Donaldson had crossed the tightrope back and forth while pushing a wheelbarrow with another person riding on it. In 1862, he did a similar stunt in Philadelphia by dancing on a tightrope high up the Schuylkill River. After dancing, he would then dive 100 feet down into the river as the final spectacle. He even proposed the idea that if anyone could finance him, he'd be willing to spend an entire week on the tightrope where he'd eat, sleep, and cook his meals. Nobody bought his offer, but his proposal garnered him more publicity for sure. After many years captivating audiences by walking on a tightrope, Donaldson soon craved for something more outrageous. His penchant for gimmickry led him to pursue one of man's biggest challenges of all at that time, conquering the skies through flight. Fascinated by the new science of aeronautics, he began building and piloting hot air balloons, making daring leaps into the unknown, even though he had no prior background into the world of ballooning. In 1871, he debuted himself as an aeronaut. His balloon traveled in the air for a short distance of 18 miles. Not only that, he only succeeded in getting it to launch off the ground after he had to remove every loose object he carried with him inside the balloon. A year after, he made another ambitious attempt, but even before his balloon could fly high, it burst just a mile above the ground in Virginia. He almost got himself killed in the process, but thanks to a patch of Burr chestnut trees that cushioned him, he stayed alive, save for a non-threatening injury. Soon after, Donaldson obsessively pursued ballooning. He built his biggest balloon yet, which he nicknamed the Magenta. It was made of jaconite fabric and weighed about 100 pounds. He had a few successful flights with the Magenta, but Donaldson was still not satisfied. He soon met John Wise, who was touted as the father of American ballooning at that time. Together, they worked on accomplishing their biggest feat yet, build a strong enough balloon that could cross the Atlantic Ocean. Things were going well at first. They even had the Daily Graphic, an illustrated evening newspaper, fund their expedition. However, John Wise withdrew from the challenge at the last minute. Donaldson, who was the least inexperienced aeronaut between the two of them, had no choice but to continue and pilot the enormous balloon on his own. he traveled with two companions, named Ford and Lunt. They launched their balloon off of the Capitoline baseball ground in Brooklyn. Tragically, the balloon didn't even reach the ocean as Donaldson was having trouble controlling it. He and Ford leaped out of the balloon just in time to land on solid ground safely, but Lunt was unable to and died of his injuries 6 months later. Despite his failed attempts, Donaldson was soon able to accomplish some successful flights. The renowned showman, P.T. Barnum, hired him to do some ballooning engagements from Barnum's Hippodrome at Gilmore's Garden, which we now know as Madison Square Garden today. This gig with P.T. Barnum required Donaldson to escort multiple passengers and reporters for trips up the skies, all of which were successful. His stint with P.T. Barnum proved profitable as he kept getting booked for flights, even marrying a couple up in the air in October 1874. Donaldson's fame and notoriety grew, which only fueled his hunger for accomplishing more daring flights. Donaldson believed that he was now able to conquer the skies, fully in control of his balloon. On July 14, 1875, he took a short, successful trip with a few passengers, one of whom was disappointed that they only flew 3 miles away. Donaldson allegedly replied, "Wait until tomorrow, and I'll go far enough for you." His words turned out to be ominous because the day after, Donaldson flew for the last time in his life. He launched his balloon off of Chicago with the goal of traveling 120 miles east across Lake Michigan to the town of Grand Haven. Donaldson's only companion was Newton Grimwood, a reporter for the Chicago Evening Journal who wanted to chronicle the flight. The balloon successfully flew off the ground, but things would soon prove fatal. They were last seen flying in the air by the crew of a boat who tried to assist them. But then, the balloon shot straight up in the air, caused by a sudden storm. When the storm had passed at dawn the following day, a rescue team was sent out to locate the balloon and its passengers. They found nothing. It was only a month later that Grimwood's body washed ashore in Michigan. Donaldson and the balloon, however, had never been found, even until today. It's no wonder then that Donaldson is often referenced when it comes to the Wizard of Oz. Renowned American literary scholar Michael Patrick Hearn even went so far as to suggest in his book, The Annotated Wizard of Oz, that Donaldson may have been Baum's inspiration when he created the titular character of the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Donaldson and the wizard had staggering similarities. Both were larger-than-life figures with a penchant for the dramatic. They were both ventriloquists and stage magicians who worked for a circus. Above all, both were daring balloonists who flew to the skies with their balloons, never to be found again. Though his life was tragically cut short, Washington Harrison Donaldson left an indelible mark on aeronautics and the spirit of adventure. He inspired generations to look to the skies and dream of possibilities. So, the next time you see a hot air balloon drifting peacefully, remember the man who once made it a stage for daring and drama. Thanks for watching our ascent into the wonderful world of Washington Harrison Donaldson, our version of the Wizard of Oz. We're curious to hear your thoughts. Do you think he may have been the real wizard? So here's to history. We're excited to bring more captivating history topics, so hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to be in the know. See you next time.